It's been a wild ride so far. While familiar faces top the standings, a big surprise has crashed the party, and some fan favorites sit outside the chase looking in. Meanwhile, the upstarts perched on top, and after last week's win, Smoke tries for a double dip in Detroit.
His kingdom for a thimble full of fuel.
Junior sputtered to victory here last June.
Junior's in trouble.
But he's had tough luck since. Can the new posse get his mojo back?
So one more time for the bits I'm set to trade. Drop that beat and scratch that break.
They're getting ready to tear the grandstands down here in Michigan.
Look who's lurking just outside the chase. Mr. Martin sure likes this full-time gig, huh? Will this four-time Michigan champ go back to the future and take his third checkered of 09? After 40 years and 79 races, you know Motor City Madness is going full throttle for number 80. One more time, for old time's sake, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, is next on Speed.
Deep in Michigan's Irish Hills, you can find some of the prettiest scenery anywhere. It's sort of like NASCAR in a national park. But you can also find a destination for NASCAR fans from the Motor City. The Michigan International Speedway is the place where manufacturers' bragging rights are up for grabs, and that's just one reason why this place is a driver favorite. It's wide open and flat out fast, and the driver who is hottest right now is points leader Tony Stewart. He's coming off his first win of the season and first points win in the number 14. Today, he could put Chevy in Michigan's victory lane, or could it be a return trip for Dale Jr., the driver who won this race last year? Get on your feet, Michigan. It's time for race number 80 for the Sprint Cup Series at the Michigan International Speedway. This crowd.
Come on!
These are race fans right here, Jimmy Spencer.
You know it, baby! Detroit, baby! Detroit, Motor City Madhouse! Come on, look at this, look at this! Always a baby! Detroit, baby!
Welcome, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. The best crowd we get on race day comes here at the Michigan International Speedway. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And ladies.
Awesome crowd, awesome day for racing, guys.
Well, let me explain something to you here, man. This is home of the big three: Chevy, Ford, and Dodge. And you know what? You just don't come in to Michigan and unseat the big three. Between Ford and Mercury, 43 wins in 79 races. So you know what, Tony? You ain't won yet. You ain't going to win today. This is the big three country, baby.
Yes, Jimmy. Oh, I love it. I mean, home of the big three, proud to be an American. Speaking of that, I got some news. This was big. Yesterday, the biggest practice in the history of our sport. Dale Jr. was second fastest, race fans. Hey,
Hey, you know what I heard?
I think he can win.
Yeah, but I heard something that we're going to inspect Mark Martin's car.
Mark Martin was first. Dale Jr. was second. And they're going to inspect Mark Martin's car. Why, Jimmy?
Well, because they wanted Junior to be first.
That's just wrong.
So anyway, race fans, here was what I had to say. Dale Jr. won this race on gas mileage, came from 9th or 6th to win. I think this could be Dale Jr.'s day. Let's all rejoice. Yes!
We're just rejoicing in the fact that it's race number 15 of the season, and we have an absolutely beautiful Sunday afternoon to get it done here in Michigan. For more on that, let's bring in our good friend Wendy Venturini.
Good morning, gentlemen, and you guys are already adding fuel to the fire, talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was second fastest in practice, but that was yesterday. Different weather conditions. Let's talk about that weather today. It's very sunny and 10 degrees warmer today. Yesterday, 10 degrees cooler, very overcast at the racetrack during practice. What does that mean? These crew chiefs are adjusting on those race cars today, including those engines. When the weather changes, you got to change those jets in that engines for the horsepower here at Michigan. Talking about horsepower, who had problems with it? Well, it was Jeff Gordon earlier in the weekend. He blew an engine earlier in practice this weekend at Michigan. It was an engine oil belt on that had to come off that car, had to put a new engine in. Jeff Gordon to the rear of the field for the start of today's race. Now everyone's watching Hendrick Motorsports today. Who else are they going to be watching for? Well, those RCR guys, they really need to gain some points at RCR. For more on that, let's head over to my good friend, Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. And when you talk about NASCAR, we always talk about it as a cyclical business. I mean, teams get on top of the sport, they win a lot of races, and then they go through a downtime where they struggle a little bit. Well, one of those teams right now is RCR. Last year, 3 cars in the chase for the championship. This year, only 1 car in the top 10, that being Jeff Burton. Clint Boyer outside the top 15. Kevin Harvick, car number 29, back in 26th position. The question is, what makes a good race team is how quick can you rebound? Well, Richard Childress Racing has started that rebound process this weekend at the Michigan International Speedway. These guys have been really good in practice, decent in qualifying. All 4 of these guys feel like they've got a chance to win this race today. So, and what fans have to understand, when you implement engineering to try to make cars go faster, if it doesn't work, it takes a long time to undo those things and head in a different direction. So Richard Childress Racing, for the first time in a while, all 4 guys were smiling. JR, the question is, can they get to victory lane here today at Michigan?
Hermie, we'll have the answer to that question in just a matter of a couple of hours. Thanks, and thanks to Wendy as well. We'll be back with you guys in just a moment. But right now, let's check out the other Big 3. The Big 3 in 2009 point championship standings. It's Tony Stewart on top. And you know what? Anytime Tony's led in points, he's gone on to win the championship.
Well, the big thing here, Jeff Gordon, we heard Wendy say he's going to the rear of the field. Well, you know what? 4 times this year the guy won from the rear of the field. So don't underestimate Jeff Gordon. He's second in the points. Kenny, you know what? Look at this. Jimmy Johnson third.
And what was interesting, when Tony Stewart won last week, Rick Hendrick said at least one of my cars got to victory lane. So Hendrick Motorsports, you know, is really helping that team out of Tony Stewart.
And how about that team of Tony Stewart with 4th in the points as well?
Ryan Newman already to 4th.
But you know what? Don't underestimate. Very quiet this year. Carl Edwards, Biffle, and Matt Kennedy, the 3 teammates from Roush Racing. This is, let's face it, Roush has got 10 wins here as an owner. He tied with the Wood Brothers.
I think this is the race that we will see Roush, you know, the whole brigade, rise to the occasion.
And here's where it really gets sticky, the battle for 12. Denny Hamlin has a position right now. Mark Martin doesn't. If Martin can get in to that top 12, he'll have a 20-point bonus at least.
And this is where Kenny gets excited, and I agree with him. Fans, 1 point. If we ended right now, Mark Martin would miss the chase, Kenny. This is big, big news.
You know what? It's all about winning, but right now with the race for the chase, I don't even know why we show the top 5. It's all about this right here. Because will David Ruderman, will Denny Hamlin keep the 11th to 12th spot? Will they have a chance to win the championship? Dale Jr., 245 points out of 12th. That worries me. I don't think he's going to make it.
And what a great story this season. David Ruderman with 1 win in the championship hunt on a team that a couple years ago was just getting off the ground and people didn't think they could make it.
Well, Michael Waltrip, give Michael Waltrip Racing a lot of credit, man. What a lot of changes they made this year. And that Rodney Childress has come over. They've won Coca-Cola 600. No question. Great pit strategy. But it's still the point that he has run consistent week in and week out. And he ran a good again last week. He qualified good here at Michigan. Can't count out that team right now.
And what I like is Marcos Ambrose from Australia. Everybody loves this guy. He's in the camp there also at Michael Waltrip Racing. All the cars well inside the top 25 in the points. Michael Waltrip Racing with the same drivers as last year. Rise to the occasion. Engineering, they hire guys from Formula One. They got a big Formula One engineer, and it seems like it's making the big difference.
Well, Michigan, we are just barely firing our engines on this edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Today for you, we have 2 of the most successful and influential owners in NASCAR coming by to talk to us, along with lots of your favorite drivers and also last week's winner.
After 14 races, there's a familiar symbol on the top of the manufacturer's standings. How did Chevy build such a strong lead? We've got the answer. Straight ahead. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit HomeDepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. And by Cheerios. Good for the heart.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Michigan International Speedway and NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. You know, for many Americans, it's a big achievement just buying your first car. Well, our next guest is in the process of buying a car company. That tells you a little bit about where he's coming from. Let's now go to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, JR. We are joined by Roger Penske. First of all, thanks for joining us on the program. And first thing you've been in the news for recently, obviously, is the acquisition or the process of acquiring Saturn. Tell us how that's going so far.
Well, I think, Hermie, it's going well. As you know, we have an opportunity from General Motors to take on that brand. It's an iconic brand with 3.5 million users today. So we hope to take that brand and set it aside and make it something that people want to buy in the future. So far, so good. We're excited. We hope to close the transaction by the end of the third quarter.
Now, the next question, if you're a NASCAR fan, is, you know, we see these other brands on the racetrack. Any chance in the future that we may see a Saturn brand on the track here in NASCAR?
See what I got on my shirt here, don't you?
I see that.
At Dodge Motorsports, we had a long-term contract with Dodge, and I think today Motorsports probably is number 50 in priority. But, you know, I really think back here might be fun.
Well, no question about that. And obviously, you've been involved in the automotive industry forever and ever. And one more piece of, you know, not so good news, you know, for NASCAR fans is the announcement of the cutbacks. And obviously, in the big scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. But the race fans want to know, how do you think the recent announcements of cutbacks for the manufacturers, as you as a race owner, how will it affect how you operate your race teams?
Well, I think we got to look at costs. I think there's been cost reductions, you know, without testing this past year. I hope NASCAR steps it up from the standpoint of all the teams. We're going to have to look at our costs, I think, from top to bottom. Look, the good news is I hear Ford, I hear Dodge, I hear General Motors all saying they're going to be supporting some phase of NASCAR and auto racing, which is important. But to me, you know, overall, the sport will be something that the auto manufacturers support. And to me, we're going through a very tough time. I can tell you from my own business, we're off 30 or 40%. So there's got to be some cutbacks.
Let's talk about Penske racing here in NASCAR in 2009. Obviously, Kurt Busch in the top 5 in points, but how about Sam Hornish Jr.? He's really, you know, surprised a lot of people. His learning curve has really improved here in his second season.
Well, I'm glad to see Kurt where he is. You know, he's a great driver and done a good job. You know, David Stremmy's come on and really helped us also. But, you know, Sam is really a bright light on our team. I think that people counted him out last year. I think he's starting to get it, and we got a lot of support from him, from the fans, and certainly the team. So we got a long way to go here, but I think all guys are doing a great job, and just appreciate the work the team's doing. I think the motor program has been good, our aerodynamic program. It's really not just the driver. I think it's the entire team has come together. So again, let's wait and see.
And what do you, obviously you get a NASCAR record, gets paid a lot to winning 15 Indy 500s, and it's a totally different deal. But what do you guys have to do as a 3-car team to get all 3 cars up front consistency and compete for wins?
I guess we got to go work with Hendricks.
Look, everybody compares themselves to Hendrick Motorsports, but all joking aside, Penske Racing here in 2009, one of the most improved organizations on the racetrack. Look for one of those cars to be in contention today, if not all 3, JR.
Hermie, thanks a lot, and we certainly appreciate the captain, Roger Penske, coming by to talk to us. And that's been a big subject so far this week, what's going on within the manufacturers and their support to NASCAR teams. GM has announced this week officially that they will cut back their involvement in all 3 of NASCAR's top series. It was first announced that it was the Camping World Truck Series and the Nationwide Series, but they now said it is NASCAR-wide. It is estimated that General Motors gives $125 million of support to teams in one single season. But also, Mike Accavetti, longtime Dodge racing director and is now president and CEO of Dodge. He has been a strong supporter of NASCAR all along, so it is good for NASCAR fans to see that name at the head of one of the big 3. So with that all said, it is so important today to have one of those manufacturers get the bright spot of winning in their hometown.
Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and Toyota are all vying for bragging rights. And the 2009 Manufacturers Championship in NASCAR's Sprint Cup Series. Chevy is on their way to a 7th Manufacturers Championship in a row with 7 wins, 105 points, and no signs of slowing down.
The Hendrick domination continues at Martinsville Speedway as Jimmy Johnson wins for the 6th time.
In only their 3rd full season in Sprint Cup racing, Toyota is running 2nd with 75 points, thanks to Kyle.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Kyle.
Hell yeah, boys. What's up?
Kyle.
Big second, baby.
And David Rudiman.
It's finally official here. David Rudiman is the winner. Matt Kenseth is the 2009 Daytona 500 champion.
Ford jumped out to an early lead with Matt Kenseth's season-opening back-to-back victories.
Matt Kenseth has won here in Southern California,
but hasn't seen checkers since. The Blue Oval has 70 points and is right on Toyota's bumper in the standings. In fourth is Dodge. Kurt Busch gave them their only victory so far.
the drag race to the checkered flag will be won by Kurt Busch and the Miller Lite Dodge.
But with 58 points, 2009 is shaping up to be another Manufacturers' Championship trophyless year.
Here's a look at the manufacturer's standings after 14 of the 36 races. You see Chevrolet on top, 30 behind is Toyota, 35 back is Ford, and 47 for Dodge. And you know, Jimmy and Kenny, there was always some concern with this COT car over the years that the old manufacturer loyalty would go away a little bit, but the fact still remains sometimes the fans out there, you win on Sunday, you sell on Monday.
Well, I've always thought that has been the motto, and I don't think we should ever get rid of that. NASCAR is a very popular sport, and right now people are talking about downsizing, but I got to tell you, the fans right now need to know that we are right-sizing. You listen to what Roger Penske says, look, I'm taking a 30 to 40% loss. We need to make everything right, right-sizing. I don't think there's such right now as downsizing. We got to get everything right, and these fans up here in Michigan know that we got to do that to keep these automakers afloat because it is America, baby. And I got goosebumps because these fans like what I just said. Yes.
Well, there's a lot of pride in this Manufacturers Cup. And the reason why we sell trucks and vans and big trucks and, you know, cars and you name it. And they do sell on Monday. And, you know, if your father was raised with Ford or your father was raised with Dodge or Chevy, it seems like the families follow. And I think there's a lot of pride driving a vehicle and then saying, hey, you know what? I'm driving my Chevy truck because Mark Martin won on Sunday. You know, Dodge no different. When Kurt Busch won at Atlanta, you know, you're going to see all those guys, hey, Dodge got a Hemi? Hell yeah, it's got a Hemi. So, I mean, they definitely tie it together. I mean, it is big.
All right, the pride and the bragging rights are on the line today for the manufacturers, but also any driver wants to put his car in victory lane because we're getting closer and closer to the championship chase cutoff. Race number 15 of the season, race number 80 here at Michigan. When we come back, one of the most influential owners in the business.
What's up at Childress? Daddy Rich stops by to set things straight, and the guests keep coming as Juan Pablo, Hornish, the captain, and a certain rock and roll Jesus drop in to give the crew the 411. Heading your way. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Well, we have some bright sunshine peeking out here at the Michigan International Speedway. Big difference from the last 2 days, and this is one team, the number 29, that is looking for a bright ray today, and they just may get it done. All Richard Childress racing teams are happy about what they've seen so far this weekend, and we're happy to have Richard Childress, the boss man, out here with us. Richard, how are you, sir?
Great, really good.
Great
the cars are running good, and hopefully we can put one of them in the winner's circle today and have a little bit of that victory cuvee afterwards.
Is this manufacturer's championship and a win in Detroit's backyard, is that as big as it's always been?
It is. You know, you got all the employees, you got so many people that support our American manufacturers right here, and to win for your own, like for us to win in our Chevy Impala today would be great, and all the pride that goes with it right here in Detroit.
Richard, you know, Chevrolet, GM, they announced that they're cutting back across the board. Are they going to take money from your race team?
I don't know yet. We're going to meet with them, but I'm sure that everybody's going to give in some, and it's going to be a time that we have to go through here. But I feel very strong about our manufacturers and General Motors. They use this as a platform to showcase their cars. And they sell cars from this, and if they do have to go away or if they go away for a while, they will be back because it's such an important platform of selling their cars.
I agree.
You know, Richard, as competitive as Sprint Cup racing is, and you were strong last year, what has changed to make you guys not quite as strong as you were? All three cars in the top 12 and now only one.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's no excuses. I don't believe in giving excuses, and I don't accept excuses. But With that said, Kevin has been in 5 crashes. None of his part. He didn't go out and crash. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He had a 2nd place and a 4th place to start the season. 8th place, he was running at California and blew a filter off, and from then it was kind of downhill. Jeff's hanging in there. Clint has had a couple of crashes. You lose 200-300 points in those crashes, and it's hard to make it back.
Richard, I'll never forget it. I was over there at the dirt track with you, and we were sitting there watching Austin race, and what a great job he did. Now 2nd in the ARCA race. You have to be proud of his progression, your grandson.
Yeah, I've got 2 grandsons, and Ty won the race the next year over there, and it was just amazing to watch these kids from they liked the sports, and then all of a sudden when they got interesting racing, they took off, and to watch Austin and Ty both's progression. But Austin gets more attention because he's older and he's out there. Kenny knows how that goes sometime with the older brothers. But he did a great job here Friday. I wasn't able to be here. I was at signing autographs, but he did a great job finishing 2nd. He said he'd like to have that last restart one more time. He didn't realize you could run through the corner wide open on the restart like that.
That's a competitive driver.
That's it.
Yeah, I think it's in the blood of that family.
Yeah.
Richard, you're a leader, and I've watched you lead your teams, to all these championships with Dale Earnhardt. So I'm hearing rumblings that maybe you're starting to hold some meetings inside the shop to get things turned around. Is that true, that you're rallying the camp?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do that. I've been in this sport. This is our 40th anniversary.
Good job.
Of racing, and it's amazing the things that we've seen. Thank you. It's peaks and valleys. If you ever get the opportunity, read the book Peaks and Valleys.
That's
live what we're in. And we're just in one of those valleys, and that's what makes you want to come out of them, is the hard work. We made a lot of internal changes that people don't even see and hear about that is really going to start showing up shortly, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of it here. We got a couple of cars that's exceptionally fast, and hopefully we can put one of them in winter circle.
Awesome.
Now, Richard Childress did not bring a box of Cheerios here just
Why?
because
That's
Jimmy
for
Spencer
me.
was hungry. There's a good purpose behind this.
Yes, sir. With this morning, we did the Cheerios walk. We had 500 people or so. Look at all the T-shirts we have here. Walk around the racetrack.
baby.
Oh, up here, yeah, great. And this is great for your heart. Jimmy, I brought this along.
Jimmy has no.
I have lost 17 pounds.
You look good.
I've been eating my Cheerios.
I heard it's good for your cholesterol.
It is. It's great, and it's just good for your heart. So, and you never are too young to start eating your Cheerios and be concerned about your health, because if you can lose everything, you can go broke or whatever, but you can't lose your health. That's the most important thing to all of us.
Amen.
And Richard, there's a good chance we'll be talking to you tonight. Hope to see you again in
Yes,
Victory
sir.
Lane. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, now it is time for our Sunoco Pit Strategy of the Week.
Well, all right, guys. Remember last weekend we were talking about fuel mileage at Pocono? Well, what won the race? Fuel mileage for the 14 car. Congratulations to those guys. Coming into Michigan this weekend, I think you're going to see a lot of the same things happen. We can go maybe 43 laps on a Sunoco fuel run here, but if you're leading the race towards the end of the event and you want to try to stretch your fuel mileage, you can back off your pace and do just like what happened last week at Pocono and stretch it an extra 3, maybe 5 laps and not even worry about your fuel mileage and just worry about your finishing position. Now, coming in here, we got a little bit different tire than what we've had in the past, so that's going to change your strategy just a little bit. We used to see a lot of 2-tire stops. I don't think you're going to see quite as many, especially with the double foul restart, as what we'd seen in the past. Now, this place is very difficult on engines as well. 2-mile oval, high RPMs, and sustained RPMs. So valve train issues are definitely going to be a problem. It's going to be a great race in the backyard of all the Detroit auto manufacturers. Enjoy the event.
Chad, thanks. It's the 5th year of the Sunoco Free Fuel 500 exclusively at Sunoco. It's easy to participate. Simply visit any participating Sunoco station, pick up a free Sunoco decal, put it in a prominent location on your car, and visit our stations on a regular basis for a chance to be spotted. For more information, go to GoSunoco.com. And coming up on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, another Richard Childress driver, Jeff Burton, has a very special guest with him, and we will speak with both of those gentlemen in just a moment.
Everyone knows how important these guys are, but it's the fans that make NASCAR great.
NASCAR fans are more loyal than any other sports fans in the world. The thing that I'm amazed at is the loyalty.
The NASCAR fans are so loyal.
Wendy pontificates on where our sport is today and why. Stay tuned. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Michigan International Speedway, where there is no question that the fans make this thing work. But out here at the speed stage, one of the biggest questions we always get from fans is, when is Wendy Venturini going to come out here and join us at the stage? Well, race fans, your answer is today. Wendy has the real deal, and she's in the middle of what the real deal really is, and that is the fans. Wendy?
Thanks, Johnny. Yes, the day has come. I have made my way to the speed stage out here. I've left the garage area. I'm lost, though. These race fans, they're crazy in Michigan. Well, this week's real deal, guess who it's about? It's about the fans. Let's check this one out. Pop quiz. What sport do fans turn a one-day event into a week-long celebration? What sport do fans dress literally head to toe and everything in between in support of their favorite team? If you said NASCAR, you are correct. We hear it all the time. The fans make our sport. So what's special about these fans? What do some of the drivers think drive our fans?
There's just a connection there between the sport and the love of the automobile. Americans have loved cars forever, and so there's a connection there because of the car.
People always love auto racing to see what manufacturer can outdo the other manufacturer, who's got the most horsepower. It's been that way ever since it started. You know, the fans are what drive the sport, though, and them coming out to the racetrack and seeing what all it is and enjoying the sights, the sounds, the smells, and all that. You know, they're pretty hardcore.
The description we often hear about NASCAR fans seems to never change. They are some of the most passionate and most loyal fans out there.
I think it all starts with loyalty. You know, NASCAR fans are more loyal than any other sports fans in the world, in my opinion.
Well, NASCAR fans are the most loyal fans in all of sports, and we're very privileged to have great fans that are out there watching our sport. Whether it's the loyalty to the brand, the driver, a team owner, it's incredible the way that people just commit their lives to NASCAR and to be so involved in it. That we feel privileged as NASCAR drivers to have such loyal fans, and it's up to us to be able to give back and make it come full circle to them.
The thing that I'm amazed at is the loyalty. The NASCAR fans are so loyal. They follow their drivers, they follow the driver's sponsors, even the competitor sponsors, they follow them, and that says a lot for our sport.
And while the fans buy the tickets and spend the money at the racetracks, it's not a one-sided affair, as the fans witness a great show.
Most all of our fans are the most loyal, and it doesn't matter whether the economy is good or bad. It seems like they still continue to show up and support their driver or their race team, and you know, that means a lot to us because you know that's what's keeping us employed is them coming to these racetracks, us being able to put on a great show for them, and at the end they feel like they got their money's worth.
They're part of us, every bit as much part of this sport as we are. They like the atmosphere. When you come to a racetrack, they feel it. You know, that's what's neat about our sport is whether you're a fan, which I've been sitting in the stands, or a racer in the car, you know, you feel the energy and the excitement in the air.
Not only a great show, but the access the fans get to our athletes is unheard of. In no other sport do fans walk and talk side by side with their favorite athlete on game day.
They feel like they get to know the drivers a little bit because of the access that they have. The NASCAR has done a wonderful job over the last 50-some years to make sure that the fans feel like they're a part of the sport.
Every track we go to, you know, it seems like the fans are always a little different. There's newer fans, there's fans that have been fans for a long time, but overall, they always seem like they know a lot about the sport, sometimes more than I know about the sport. They'll tell me things that I didn't know, and they just have a lot of energy. You know, they really love it, and that's cool.
So NASCAR fans should take pride. You are all appreciated. Without these fans here, there is no sport of racing. This is a sport truly driven by the fans, and that has never changed. You guys, I like it here. I think I'm going to stay here. Johnny, what do you think? Should I just stay here at the stage the rest of the show?
We'd love to have you, but Hermie needs your help.
All right, well, I'm going to head back in.
All right, thanks a lot, Wendy. And there's no doubt about it that these fans are the best ever. NASCAR is the only place in the world that you can put a blue tarp over the back of a pickup truck and it becomes a camper.
I got to tell you something. One thing about the fans is that they have to cheer They have to boo. They have to moan. They have to groan. And without any reaction, we don't have a sport, Spence. I remember, I mean, they wanted to kill this guy a couple times. But, okay, not a couple, 100. And Spence, I got to tell you what, you're one of my heroes because you got a lot of reactions out of the fans. And Donna, just thank all you fans that are here.
Well, it's just like here, all these fans. And we know NASCAR has done a fantastic job ever since Bill France Sr. started this company in 1949. We know the fans are what it's all about. And I'm like Clint Boyer. I've been to the Daytona 500. I watched Richard Petty and Pearson crash the last lap. I watched Davey Allison lose to his father. I was a fan. I still am a fan. And I love NASCAR racing. I just thank the fans for supporting. And I agree with you, booing, yaying, or whatever. We love you, baby. Thanks for supporting NASCAR race day here at Home Depot, baby. Yeah, that's what we're talking
cheer
about.
just as long as you're here. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to talk about one driver who's getting a lot of reaction from the fans. But right now, we're going to go to Rutledge Wood, who is in search of our most colorful
There they go.
fan.
There
I
they
guess
go.
they knew who it is.
Greatest candy in the world.
Greatest fans in the world.
Now let's go to Rutledge Wood, who is looking for NASCAR's most colorful fan for M&M's.
So for our most colorful fan this week, Lindsay, you found a great grill.
I did. I found Laura here from Mount Clemens, Michigan, who's been coming to MIS for over 40 years.
And Laura, your grill seems like it was once a functional V8 305.
That's exactly what it is. Steve here got an email, and we asked him if he could build it in time for race day, and he said, sure, I can. Hollowed out the engine, made it a charcoal grill, and it's just been fun all weekend. Getting smoke out of the pipes and wonderful food.
Now this, if you were into fast grilling, a little V8 American Power is how you need to do it. Those done yet?
Those are done.
Man, those look good.
Hey, where was mine at?
I don't know, but for those of you who couldn't make it to Michigan, make sure you register at NASCAR.com/most colorful fan for your chance to be M&M's most colorful fan of the NASCAR winner. On the site, you can vote for your favorites, play the instant win game, and upload your colorful photo fans for the chance to win a trip to the final race of the season at Homestead, Miami, where M&M's will crown the most colorful fan of NASCAR. So still to come on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. What did Kyle Busch do now to incite Junior Nation? We'll have that answer. We'll also have Sam Hornish Jr. coming up.
After visiting the good of 2009 a few weeks back, we'll drop in on the bad today. What have we learned so far? Class is in session. Around the turn. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Race number 15 of the season is today, and there's the lone representative in the top 12 for Richard Childress Racing, and that is Jeff Burton. And you know what? You'd have to take two Mark Martins and stack them head to toe to be as tall as one of the next guests for Hermie Sadler. I said that. Sorry. Anyway, let's go now to Hermie Sadler, who's standing by with Jeff Burton and a special guest.
Well, thank you, Jay. I do have Jeff Burton and special guest Shane Battier. Now, I have to qualify this interview. I am a Carolina graduate, and I've got two Duke fans, players. But I did say this. Blue Devils. Shane Battier is one of my top five. Only 5 Duke players were eligible to be on the show, and Shane was one of them. So first of all, thanks and welcome to the racetrack. I know you're on behalf of Service Master. Glad you're here.
Well, I'm very excited. It's my first race. I'm here with the Service Master folks and taking it all in. Meeting my favorite driver, number 31, Jeff Burton. I wear number 31. We're both Duke guys, so it's a good day.
Now, you know, we're having a difficult time getting both of us in this frame. Last year, I interviewed one of your teammates, Yao Ming, and they gave me a 12-foot step ladder to get that done. So I'm a little not as big a difference here, but have you watched, I know you first race you've been to, but do you follow NASCAR at all on the tube?
Well, I've been in the NASCAR belt last 12 years of my life, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas, and it's the first time I've been to a race. I try to follow a little bit, and I know the guys, and it's a great sport, and there's a reason why you see 150,000 people out here every weekend, and I'm excited to see it firsthand today.
And I'm told, reminded by my producer, that Shane Battier is a 2001 national champion at Duke. Let's go to your buddy Jeff Burton. Jeff, we've been talking about you guys a lot on the show today, RCR, and no question you guys haven't hid the fact that you haven't been the way you wanted to be, but it looks like this weekend is the first time all 4 drivers or smiling, maybe a step in the right direction?
Yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction. You know, it's in this sport, when you get behind, it's hard to get caught back up, because every team, when you're behind, you're trying to get better, but all the teams that are ahead of you, they're trying to get better too, and it's just it kind of compounds itself. But I feel really good about where we're heading. You know, like the 33 and the 07 both were really good yesterday in practice, and that's a good sign. So we're heading in the right direction, and you know, we haven't been where we want to be, but you know, hard work and dedication, and a lot of people putting a lot of overtime and extra effort into it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I know a lot of times fans don't understand, like if you're not running well, they're like, why can't you fix it today? But it takes a long time to institute plans to make go faster, but when it's not the right direction, it takes time to go another direction.
Well, the reason that you're not running well is either the driver's not doing a good job, or we've collectively made, you know, not really good decisions on what to do to the cars, and we made those decisions because we thought it was the right thing to do. If it's not just as easy as just saying we'll do something different. You know, we haven't done things that are stupid. We haven't done things that don't make any sense. It's just that our competition has done them a little better. So, you know, it's small things. If you think about being 0.2 of a second off on a 50-second lap, the percentage that you're off is really, really small, but it's hard to find it. And, you know, it's just so competitive. But I feel really good. I mean, honestly, I feel really good about where we're heading. And, you know, we got some work to do, but we're doing it, and I feel good about it.
And these guys have got to get the corner turned over halfway through to see who gets locked into the chase. But Jeff thinks he's got a lucky charm here today. We'll have to wait and see.
That is the first time.
Yes, we will see, and it's definitely a tall lucky charm.
Duke won a championship 2001. Okay, go to break. JR, take
Okay, we know. Thanks a lot, Herman. We appreciate Shane Vadier coming by and talk to us, and Jeff Burton. But you know what? Jimmy and Kenny have taken off, and you guys aren't going to believe what they went to do. Right in the middle of that interview, they just took off, jumped on motorcycles, and started riding. Can you believe that? They're pretty good at it, too. Look at, there's Jimmy. Oh, man. We'll be back to Michigan in just a moment. Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway, everyone. It is sunny, bright, warm, and we are fired up for 400 miles of racing on this large racetrack that is wide open and flat out fast. It's a driver favorite and a fan favorite, and whoever wins today gets to take home some manufacturers' bragging rights. Earlier on the show, we had Roger Penske, known as the captain, and now Wendy is standing by with one of his mates.
I am with Sam Hornish, and I wish I could say race fans. I just ran from the stage back to the garage area, but we golf carted, we cheated, but nonetheless, we're back in the garage where I call home. Sam Hornish, your home, basically, here at Michigan International Speedway, not too far from Defiance, Ohio. How nice it is to be home for the weekend of sorts.
It's great. You know, we get to leave Pocono, come back to Ohio, spend a couple days at home with friends and family, come up here and race, and get to see a lot of the same people on the weekend, and then get a couple days off before we go to Sonoma. So this is kind of like my vacation a little bit right here, and really enjoying it so far. I've got a lot of fond memories from coming up here to Michigan and watching the race as a kid, so looking forward to getting out there and getting running it again.
Now, before I ask about your race car, I have to ask about your hot rod that I've seen at the racetrack. You went back home to Defiance, drove a pretty cool car that's been here all weekend. How fun has that been? Tell us about that little car. You have a fun toy.
It is a fun toy. Actually, we were testing this weekend. My spotter came back, and I had to have him up here in time for the garage to open at 6:30, so I got to pull in. It's louder than one of the race cars, so I was revving it up pretty good through the parking lot trying to wake some people up. But it's a fun little car, and got to drive it up about an hour. I barely fit in it, so it's made for somebody that's about 5'8", so 6 foot doesn't fit into it. It's real good.
Well, speed enthusiasts will enjoy that, because I know the guys in the garage have all been checking it out this race weekend. Talk about your race car. How good is it going to be? You're coming off that 10th place finish in Pocono, have momentum on your side. Can you do it again here at Michigan?
The thing I really need to remember is that we've had some really good cars the last couple of weeks, and this weekend we weren't able to get a really good handle on the race car, so we need to make sure that we bring it home first and foremost. But I think that you know, we just stay out of trouble, make it towards the end. We have a really good opportunity to get out of here with another top 20 finish. Obviously, I want to win here at Michigan, but we got to remember that the points are a big thing, and make sure we get the Mobil 1 Dodge to the finish line.
All right, and points are a big thing for Sam Hornish. He's 23rd right now in points, hoping to gain some more of those here at Michigan. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thanks, and lining up here with our Grand Marshal for the day, Kid Rock, and Robbie Gordon. First of all, thanks for being here. I know you're somewhat of a NASCAR fan. You got to give the command today. You've been practicing?
I need no practice for that. I'm a pro.
Well, no question about that, but good to be back here and close to your hometown in Michigan. Michigan, a lot of rock and roll fans, a lot of NASCAR fans as well.
Yeah, we love cars. We love music. It's a great thing, especially right now with the economy being the way it is. Tough people here. It's great to come out and get away from it see some cars go fast, and celebrate some time with your family and friends and have a good time.
You got 2 concerts coming up in July. You're giving some of the proceeds back to help out the city of Detroit. We're real proud of that. Tell us about it.
We're doing a lot of things there, with with Jim Beam and Red Stag. They have a thing called Operation Homefront, and they're actually sponsoring the whole tour, and Michigan being some of the bigger dates in Detroit. We take 50 cents and give that to the troops and their families off each ticket sold. And then we're doing a lot of other local stuff with a company called the Rainbow Connection, a foundation that helps terminally ill children. There's all sorts of little pockets of stuff. It's good. The people have always supported me, so especially at a time like this, it's the least I could do is give back a little.
We appreciate you being here. Let's talk to the driver of the Jim Beam car, Robbie Gordon. One of your better qualifying runs in a long time. Looks pretty good in practice also.
Yeah, car's pretty good. We've been working hard on our intermediate racetrack stuff. We finished 3rd at Charlotte with a very similar car to this. It's kind of our new spec car, and it seems to eat the track, if that makes any sense. It rides low and handles good. So, our engines are good. We get good fuel mileage, and to have Bobby on the car or Kid Rock on the car, we're going to rock the house this weekend.
And how would it be to get some good momentum headed to a place you really love next week out in Infineon?
Well, we've been having some good momentum. We finished 3rd a couple weeks ago, and I think we've easily got a top 10 car here, so that's a good thing. We'll just keep working hard at it, and obviously it's kind of what you unload with. If you unload and you're not very good, you're going to struggle all weekend. If you unload and you're decent, you got a shot at it. And I think the stuff that we're unloading with now is a lot better than what we were doing at the beginning of the year.
Robbie Gordon has a lot of optimism. Thanks, Kid Rock, for being here. Should be a fun day from start to finish. JR?
Hermie, thanks a lot. Robbie Gordon's runs of late and what Kid Rock's doing for the city of Detroit, that's among the good of this year's 2009 NASCAR season. But as part of us looking at the good, bad, and the ugly of the season, now we're going to take a look at some of the bad of 2009.
Kevin Harvick hasn't had too many reasons in 2009 to be happy.
Contact! Turn number 4, they're still crashing and colliding. Kevin Harvick has got a piece of it.
Nobody get in the game. We've about knocked ourselves out.
After a second-place finish at Daytona, he's had just one other top 10 and led a mere 9 laps all year.
Caution's out. 29 slow on the front stretch.
Currently 26th in points, his chase chances are somewhere between slim and none.
We'll fix it next time we get a caution.
RCR teammate Clint Boyer was riding high after Martinsville, second in points and just 86 out of first.
Lane, one lane, all the way.
But has plummeted 14 spots since, while averaging 27th over the last 7 races.
Hard contact and into the outside wall goes Clint Boyer. The BB&T Chevrolet like a pinball off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
New Childress edition Casey Mears is in a familiar car and was able to benefit from Boyer's 2008 owner's points at the start of the season. Like Harvick, Mears was falling fast in the standings.
Jimmy Johnson beginning to lap cars, Casey Mears and Robbie Gordon there.
Effective at Richmond, the 07 and 29 swapped everyone but the spotter in hopes of saving their season.
Trouble turn 2, Casey Mears head on in the wall.
Only time will tell if the move pays off.
Like Todd said, Casey, we're going to have another good one next week, man. Yeah, Tim Boyle, I'm excited, man. 2 weekends in a row to be like we have been. Let's say we're not taking advantage of it.
Among the RCR teams, Jeff Burton's alone in the chase. But for how long? Residing in 10th, only 46 points separate Burton and a spot on the outside looking in.
Good job, guys. That's us right there, man. Never quit. Never quit. You never know what can happen.
RCR isn't the only team in NASCAR's top series not living up to their standards of excellence. Roush Fenway is also miles away from where they stood last year at this time.
Carl Edwards has had revolvers today. Everybody else has had rubber bands.
Carl Edwards had 3 wins and 6 top 5s.
Carl Edwards wins at Texas Motor Speedway.
The Biff had 2 poles and 5 top 5s, while David Reagan was in 13th, 7 points away from the 12th spot.
Here is David Reagan coming onto the 5th lane. He had taken over the lead for a couple of circuits.
Fast forward to 09. Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle have no wins and no poles.
See what we can do with it here.
David Reagan is buried in 31st.
That was 11. Sorry about that.
And hoping just to stay afloat.
Let's take a look at some of the not-so-good numbers. The bad of 2009, Jamie McMurray and their top 10 finishes went not what they're used to. 3 for Jamie, 2 for Casey Mears, 2 for Kevin Harvick, and one for David Reagan. Reagan being a guy who just barely missed the chase last year. And Jimmy, since this is kind of your specialty, you start us out talking about the bad of 2009.
Well, what puzzles me is the Childress camp. How can Harvick be that strong last year and it just keeps rolling and then comes out this year? You know, top 10 in points last year. He's all the way back to 26th. I don't know what's going on there with that the 29 team. Got to fix it. We heard Childress say he's going to. And the other one, David Reagan. This guy shows glimpses of glory. Last year, a shot at this chase, looking really good. Comes out this year, absolutely stinks. I mean, he's went from the 13th in the points last year all the way back to 31st. Jack Roush made some changes this week. I have a lot of faith in Jack Roush. Not quite as much in David Reagan. Hopefully that David can get that thing turned around for Jack. They're struggling big time.
Now, hold on, Jimmy. These two drivers that we're saying are bad, these are drivers that were almost in the chase last year. David Reagan just barely missed the chase.
I know he just missed the chase, Kenny, but he does seem to close the deal.
Okay, well, here that brings up the question, though. We talk about this all the time on this show. Is it the car or is it the driver? What can you credit that, and how can you tell?
I'm the king at this, analyst. I mean, I don't look at who is not doing good, who can be better. What I do is I look at the driver that's a hero and then falls from grace. I look at somebody like my friend Kevin Harvick. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's darn good. So how can he go that bad? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Last year, same team, same car. How can he be that good? How can he go that bad? Well, we're learning today on our show, like Hermie Sedler says, it's cyclical. Goes good, goes bad, goes up, goes down. So I think that all the drivers are good, and I think that all the teams are good. I think it's all got to just come together in a combination, just like a baseball or a football team.
If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
That's right. They're all good.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. So best of luck to everybody out there that's trying to turn it around today. Yes, Mr. Spencer?
But the end of the result is some guys can close the deal and other guys can't.
And that is the truth. All right, now we're going to take another quick break here. But before we go, we want to remind you that you can speed into Father's Day at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Visit the speed stage all weekend and sign up to win the ultimate Father's Day race package. You can win the chance to watch the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race from the number 20 Home Depot pit box and much more. Just go to speedtv.com, keyword promo for more information. It is a great afternoon for NASCAR racing, and what a better crowd to do it in front of than here at the Michigan International Speedway. Now we're going to go inside the racetrack to where the rubber hits the road. Wendy and Hermie have hit the pavement for the Shell Garage Report. We're going to start out with Hermie for information on your favorite drivers. Hermie?
Well, thank you, JR. And how can we not start the Shell Garage Report and not talk about Tony Stewart, driver of the number 14 car behind me? He won last week's race from a bag-up car. He is the points leader. He qualified 11th for this week, and he has 13 top 10 finishes in 20 starts here at Michigan. Now on to the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. An interesting day yesterday for Jimmy Johnson. He spun yesterday in first practice along with the 14 car, and I talked to Jimmy Johnson this morning. He said his car's pretty good, but they lost a lot of practice time dissecting the engine, making sure they didn't spin the engine over backwards and have any mechanical problems that will cause them issues today on the racetrack. But overall, Jimmy thinks the car's pretty good. Now on to Jeff Gordon. A couple weeks ago at Dover, if you remember, Jeff Gordon crashed in practice in qualifying at Dover, went to a bag-up car, started in the rear, never could overcome it. Well, Jeff Gordon is starting from the rear again today because of an engine change. He lost an engine in practice on Friday. He will start at the back. Steve Letarte says his car is pretty good, a little tight in the center and a little free off, but Wendy Venturini, he's going to wait and see what this racetrack does before he makes any major changes.
Thanks, Hermie. David Ruderman has moved up in the points after his third place finish in Pocono moved up to 11th. Now Rodney Childress, the crew chief, right off camera is making some final adjustments to this race car before it heads through the tech inspection line. They're looking forward today. They had a great qualifying effort of 4th here at Michigan, but his average finish 21st at Michigan. Moving on to Denny Hamlin. His car is already through the tech inspection line. Denny Hamlin coming off a horrible finish at Pocono, 38th, dropping him from 7th to 12th in the points. Good news, his ankle is feeling better this weekend at Michigan. Mark Martin fell out of the top 12. He is now 13th in points. Mark Martin hopes to gain some very important points for Mark Martin today. He was fastest in happy hour, even though he qualified 32nd here. He has 4 wins at Michigan, and that looks very good on paper. I possibly may be looking at Mark Martin to choose him. It's my fantasy pick. You'll have to stay tuned. Hermie?
Wendy, and some of the guys who may be favorites today, some of the Roush Fenway cars. Let's start with Carl Edwards. Last week at Pocono, a heartbreaker for that team. They led the most laps and had a chance to win, but ended up finishing 11th last week. But last couple finishes, 4th, 7th, and 2nd last week at Pocono. He didn't qualify well, though, qualified 29th, but he thinks his car is pretty good for today. Think about Greg Biffle, right here behind me, the 16 car, a 2-time winner here at Dover. He is 7th in points, qualified so-so as well, but thinks he has a chance to win this race today. And finally, Matt Kenseth. He is 8th in points, but hadn't heard a lot out of Matt since he won the first 2 races of the season, Daytona and California. He does have 2 wins at this racetrack, and he is a pretty good race car today here, Wendy, and all these Roush Fenway guys looking to rebound from subpar qualifying runs to try to get to victory lane.
Hermie, we're going to jump a little bit deeper into the field. 17th is where we're headed with Brian Vickers. He's our pole sitter. He's one of the multiple pole winners here in 2009, Brian Vickers. His best effort at Michigan was 4th 1 year ago, 17th in points, hoping to gain today. Right next to him in points was the 47 of Marcus Ambrose. He moved up 2 spots after his 6th place finish in Pocono. Marcus Ambrose is definitely on a roll, hoping to gain some momentum and get closer to that elusive top 12 in points. This is the best he's been in points since our season opener at Daytona. Good news for Marcus, we're headed to Sonoma, where he is the king of road courses and should be pretty good. Let's move on to 20th in points. The man everybody loves, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now he dropped to 20th in points. We are on the 1-year anniversary of his win from Michigan. It has been 1 year, folks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wants to win again. He was 2nd fastest in Happy Hour, as we all know. His average finish the last 5 races for Dale Earnhardt Jr., dun, 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 not so good. 22nd for Dale Earnhardt Jr., hoping to maybe end up in victory lane and end that winless streak that is now at a year long. Gentlemen.
Wendy, thanks a lot. When she says gentlemen, I kind of look around and wonder who she's talking to, but I guess it's us.
I think it is, Johnny.
Okay, what do you think out of that list? Top 20, who do you like, who do you not like?
I like the 0-0, and I'm going to tell you why. What a difference this year has made. Last year they had a good run here at Michigan. The engine blowed up. But you know what? The 14 car, why is he leading the points? 4,445 laps completed of 4,448. 99.93%, Kenny, unheard of.
Marcus Ambrose, incredibly proud of this guy. From Australia, everybody loves him. You know, he ran the Nationwide Series last year, middle of the pack car, and they say, let's take him up to Cup. He's doing really good. The other guy, Mark the Kid Martin from Batesville, Arkansas. Why? Because he shouldn't even be here. 3 years ago, he retired. Yay for Mark Martin.
Plus 2 wins.
50-year-old Mark Martin, 2 wins. In a day and age we always talking about young guns, well, watch out for Mark Martin, the old guy today. He can definitely still get it done. When we come back, we're going to talk about Kyle Busch and why Junior Nation has put the black hat firmly on his head. Now that's a great view of the Michigan International Speedway. Thanks to Goodyear for our aerial shots today. And as you can see, it is becoming even more of a beautiful day here at Michigan. The skies are clear, the temperatures are warm, and the fans are fired up and ready to go. Let's now send you back into the garage and check back in with Hermie Sadler. Hermie, what's going on?
Well, I got Joey Logano, who arrived back at the racetrack about 2:30 this morning after a big win last night. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was a good time down there. It was a late one, but ready to go again today.
I got to ask the question everybody wants to know. What does it look like to have Kyle Busch in the rearview mirror of your race car? You're about the only one that's done that lately.
Yeah, that's the way you want it to look. Believe me, I was right behind him before the last restart there, and I was thinking about what do I got to do to beat this guy. And finally I decided I had a good enough car to do it. Dave Rogers and the whole gang down there gave me an awesome race car, and I was able to do what I can do and able to get the win. That was neat. It's one of those racetracks I like a lot, so you were able to have a really good run.
Let's talk about today. Obviously, your first Cup start here at Michigan, and a whole different set of circumstances. It's going to be a little bit hotter and slicker today. Tell us what your concerns are and what you're looking forward to today.
I don't know. I've never been here. No, it's just, there's going to be a couple of things. I think me just getting used to it still. I think that's going to be a part of it today. But I feel like I learned a lot in practice for where I wanted to be on the racetrack and was able to tune to that. So hopefully Zippy and the guy, we've always have some good pit stops and, keep us in the top, 15 all day and hopefully there at the end.
You've come a long way this year with not a lot of experience. What are your goals as you stand here today, looking forward to the second half of the season? When you end up in Homestead, where would you like to be?
Yeah, I don't. I'm a day-by-day person, so I don't look that far ahead. I mean, beginning of the year, I didn't set no huge goal, and just really the only thing is just to keep improving and keep getting these better finishes, and start working on some more top 10s, and hopefully more top 5s will come working in on that. So, just the main goal right now is just keep improving.
And we caught a sneak peek at the inside of your race car. You've got a little sign in there that says "Be disciplined." When you look at that inside of your car, what does that help you? What does that mean to you inside of a race car, and how often do you refer to that while you're racing?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, so it's first I heard about it. But
you mean they stuck it in there without telling you?
Yeah. No, it's pretty much just going to mean just I have an issue always over driving the corner, always getting in there too hard, and even more with these cars. And this place is so inviting to drive it into the corner, and you can't do that. So I'm just going to have to keep backing up my corner all day, and I'm sure that's going to be my big reminder. I'll hear it all day on the radio.
No, they'll tell him be disciplined until about 25 to go. Then they'll tell him rip that off the dash, Wendy, and go for the win.
Thanks, Irby, and I'm with Juan Pablo Montoya, who I don't know if he has any motivational quotes inside his race car. Does your team do anything like they do with Joey Logano?
No.
You don't need to be disciplined. You're disciplined enough. Talk about Michigan and how disciplined you have to be today for this race.
I'll tell you the truth. I think the target car we got here is incredible. You know, we run well. We've got good practice, qualifying good. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. You know, I think discipline is very important. I think it's such a big truck that overdriving is really easy. And I've done that in the past. So I always try to keep that in mind. Make sure you get out of the gas early, let it roll, be patient. You know, tires are going away a lot here, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
Now, you qualified 7th, so a great starting spot for you. How much worried does the weather play into effect? Yesterday was really overcast. Today, completely different story. Did you talk to your crew chief about what those changes might bring?
Well, it should make the truck a little slicker, and I think it should help the top, actually. You know, people normally, when they run the bottom, when the truck is this hot, it goes away a lot faster. So hopefully running a little higher is going to help us.
All right, when you look at the points, you're 15th, and you really have solidly been in that top 15 for well over 10 weeks. What do you guys have to do as we get closer to that chase cutoff to gain some more? You're shrugging your shoulders at me.
Yes, I am. You know, we're working hard. We're doing all we can. You know, though we had a great race car and finished 30th with 3 flat tires, we run terrible in Pocono and finished 8th. So, you know, I think the team is doing a really good job. I think we've got a good car here. We should have a very good car next week. So, you know, whatever it comes, it comes. The goal is always try to finish better where you are in points and see what happens.
All right, good luck to Juan Pablo. Coming off that top 10 finish in Pocono, Johnny, hoping to get a little bit more gain in those points, get him closer to that top 12 cutoff.
Wendy, it wasn't that long ago that Juan Pablo Montoya was spraying the champagne in victory lane at Infineon Raceway, and that's where we go next after we leave Michigan after 400 hard miles today. And we want to remind you fans that Friday on Speed, the action heads to Infineon for the first road course race of the season. Can Tony Stewart continue a strong start, or will Kyle Busch return to victory lane? Coverage begins Friday at 2 Eastern with NASCAR Live, and don't miss trackside at 5:30 Eastern. NASCAR Race Day is brought to you by Gander Mountain. We live the outdoors. It was a masterful job of fuel strategy used by Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team at this race last year that propelled the number 88 Hendrick Motorsports car to victory lane for the first time, and they want a repeat of that today.
Lots of sons and daughters watching their fathers race today. Lots of fathers watching their sons race.
I don't know, let's just go out here and have a good time today, boys.
But this is where the strong teams, show.
There you go.
Let's haul ass on 3 today. 1, 2, 3.
Haul ass! Green flag goes in the air, and we're underway.
Yeah, we just lose a lot of grip. It's freer.
We'll lose after a couple laps, and it just comes back in. I don't know why that is.
What I'm thinking about doing is go up a pound in the right front to give you that right front security right off the get-go. Okay.
So I get down into one, and it's like once the start slides, and it never stops.
We're getting the same thing from 3 of our teammates here, freeing up everywhere.
Boy, Vickers has come to life early here this afternoon. He started in the 18th position.
We got some trash on, don't we? Tell Jimmy that we're just going to get up behind him for a lap, try to get the tape off. 10-4. He's got a tuck behind. He said he's got grill on something on his grill.
Here comes Vickers, charging to the outside.
83 car is the leader. He's about 2 seconds ahead of you.
I feel like I'm I'm driving like a pissed-off teenager. Good. It's loose. It's drivable, but it's pretty loose. We'll give you some more left rear and give you a track bar down next stop.
I don't know if we should come on this one, but if we do, we're doing the same thing.
Just right sides only for Matt Kenseth.
Punch that damn official in the head. He just cost us the lead. Somebody needs to take initiative and get in the official's ass. Hey, buddy, haul ass.
I'm gonna drop the wheels off this thing. You can count on that, but it's tight.
Don't be close. I promise you. I don't know what your damn fuel deal is, how much you've been saving, but it's racing. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we don't win it. He's the leader? Yes, he's the leader right there. Car just now got to where I like it.
Well, he's going to apparently now roll the dice here at Michigan.
He's got the lead by 3 car lengths over Jamie McMurray. The question is, has Dale Earnhardt Jr. got enough Tiger in the tank?
We have caution. 2 cars break loose at the start-finish line. White flag and caution flags flying. Finally, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to score.
You are the winner.
Yeah, baby! Way to go, Dale Jr. Good job. Woo! Good job, boy. That's the way to do it. We'll take them any way we get them.
There was a ton of pressure taken off that team that day with the victory here at Michigan, and there will be a load of pressure taken off them again this year if they can pull off a repeat, and that certainly will thrill the fan base that's known as Junior Nation. Now, Friday might not have been the best day for Junior Nation because, once again, they were called out by Kyle Busch, and it goes back to his win where he smashed the guitar in victory lane as a symbol of celebration after his race victory in Memphis. But what he did afterwards was said, as he addressed the media on Friday, he said that a lot of fans liked it, a lot of fans didn't, and the ones who didn't were of Junior Nation.
It was fun, and a lot of people enjoyed it, thought it was different. Sport's not so vanilla. A lot of people hated it, and you know, I guess those are the ones with 88s tattooed on their arm.
One other quick...
Or maybe still 8s. I don't know which.
You and Junior, dude. Let's switch gears to Pocono.
I got no issues with Junior. It's his fans that are crazy, but that's all right.
Oh, okay. So here's what Dale Jr. had to say in response to that comment about his fans. He said, my fans handle themselves well, and they're good people, so I don't think anyone who would be calling them out and stirring them up is only causing problems, not only for himself, but everybody else in the sport. That is a response from Dale Earnhardt Jr. So who do you go to for a comment on a situation like this? No one else other than Booty Barker can give us the good stuff.
We're here at Michigan this week to bring you some Napa good stuff. A lot of controversy in the nation, but we're going to talk about a little more lighthearted controversy with the driver of the 18 car, Kyle Busch. Now, he called out your boy Dale Jr.
You got to make the most popular driver in the sport competitive, so you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And, you know, it's never Junior, it's always the crew chief.
Earnhardt Nation, I know you got upset at that, but he just put it out there, what some people might have been thinking. But the reason he done it, I think, he wants to prove to everybody, himself, Dale Jr., anybody out there, that he's a better driver. Stats prove so far he has been. And so Kyle put it out there for all of y'all to see. Now, the smashing of the guitar at Nashville. I know it upset a lot of people in victory lane or whatever, but on the other hand, it was kind of cool, and also he shared the fragments with his crew. So there's a duality there. What I mean by that, he wears the black hat. In this sport, we need a villain, and he is that villain. He calls it like he sees it, and he does what he wants to. The rest of us, we have to wear gray hats, because we all got to hedge our bet. Love him or hate him, Kyle Busch can get away with the things he does because he is that good. And he's good for our sport, and we need him. And that, my friends, is the good stuff.
Booty, thanks a lot. No one gets a stir out of the fans these days like Kyle Busch. And Jimmy, let's face it, boo him, love him, or hate him, the guy gets it done behind the wheel.
I don't like what he did last week with the guitar, but I will say this, I like Kyle Busch. And a simple reason why. He doesn't know what it is to give up. He's not afraid. He'll push the pedal. Now, he has every right to pick on Junior. The Junior Nation is shrinking. And, you know, think about this. Junior last year, 3rd in the points, 10 top 10s. This year, he's 20th in the points with only 3 top 10s. Junior Nation slowly shrinking down. The fans come up to me and say, hey, why does Junior keep missing his pits? Tell you why. He loves M&Ms like I do. He's reaching down trying to get in. Oh, damn, I missed my pit.
Oh, that is great.
I didn't know where you were going.
Are those Kyle Busch fans?
They're Kyle Busch fans. And the reason why
Kyle Busch fans.
The reason why people will get behind a winner is simply from the standpoint you can be proud. You don't have to say that he's my hero, but you can be proud and say, man, I like the guy because he gives it his all. That's the true American way, and that's what I think people are getting behind Kyle Busch for.
And I think history is repeating itself. Wasn't there a guy like this who won 3 championships? Let me see. Jaws. His name was Darrell Waltrip. Race fans, here's the bottom line. That's all you're the one that are watching me right now. You talk about Kyle Busch all the time. That's all we talk about 24/7. And here's all I got to say. Tony Stewart won the race last week, his very first race with his new race team, okay?
Yeah, baby.
Hold on.
The fans love that one.
Now, what is the biggest story of the week? Not the Cup Series, the Nationwide Series, because Kyle Busch smashed a guitar.
Very wrong.
That's how famous this kid is. This kid gets in your crawl, and he's winning. He's beating you because that's all you will talk about. So remember, history is repeating itself. Darrell Waltrip do-over.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to smash the guitar. Kyle,
Oh, so what?
Well, I think we'll continue to talk about that for a long time because that's not going away anytime soon. Neither is Kyle Busch, and we say it all the time on this show because it's true. This is not the witness protection program. You're in the Cup car to get noticed. That's exactly what Kyle Busch is doing.
When you have to shoot, don't talk. Which brings us to the ugly of 2009 and a few misfires. Or as we like to call it, Junior in the Pits. Coming at you, NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot.
In the shadows of Detroit, the Motor City, sits the Michigan International Speedway, 2 miles of flat-out fast asphalt that they like to call NASCAR in a national park. And today, we're going to see NASCAR's best do battle. It was this time last year that Dale Earnhardt Jr. made his way into victory lane. That was the last time that happened, and it could happen again today. Brian Vickers in the number 83 will lead us from the pole position. He captured his 3rd pole of the season and hopes to finish first as well as start first. And finish first was exactly what Tony Stewart did last weekend in Pocono. He's hoping to go back-to-back because the number 14 team has all the confidence on their side. Let's take a look at the big 3 in points. It's Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson. Each have scored wins so far this season. Jimmy getting 2 of them. On back to 4th through 10th. And that has Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Jeff Burton, with the Biff also up there as well. And the Roush Fenway cars have been known over the years to run very well here at Michigan. With 2 wins and outside of the top 12 in points by 1 point is Mark Martin. And that's certainly, if he could make it in, could definitely be a beautiful thing for Mark Martin fans. But we go from something that could potentially be beautiful to Mark Martin to the ugly of 2009. We've been looking at the good, bad, and the ugly, and now it's time, race fans, the ugly.
The good.
Tony Stewart has won for the first time as an owner.
Mark Martin, 2nd win of the season.
Nobody could put a glove on Kyle Busch.
The bad.
Caution's out, 29 slow on the front stretch.
Trouble turn 2. Casey Mears head on in the wall.
The ugly.
Contact here in the triangle. Edwards goes up in the air.
And a big miscue for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He's had trouble in the pits in the qualifying race, had trouble in the pits today. I'm not sure what's going on.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Sprint Cup season to date has been on the wrong side of ugly.
This race is going to be over in a minute or 2. We've got to pull something out of our ass to get us to track position. We're really loose. No power down or nothing. In forward, way too loose.
Long stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
They're going to be sure to get the wheels tight this time.
My wheel comes off and I hit the fence real hard. I get to whack every damn one of you with a hammer.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets hit by the NASCAR speeding police.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. simply lost the handle.
Wrecking over there in turn 4. Caution's out.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. missing a lug nut. He'll be back to pit road.
Trouble in turn 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has hit the wall. He was tempting fate the last 2 or 3 laps.
Whoa, the tire is sitting 1 inch onto the white line.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. sits hopelessly right now on the pit lane.
Although it may appear that way, the 88 team doesn't hold a monopoly on pit road troubles.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road.
And slow on the left rear. As a matter of fact, the NASCAR officials are saying they odds on. This could be a costly mistake.
Big change for Carl Edwards. Winning in first, he'll restart this race in the 11th position.
We know we got to get better.
He's trying to do the right thing and go out there and retrieve that tire and get it back over the wall, but in the meantime endangers himself, and NASCAR has no choice but to throw the yellow.
Go. 2. Come on, guys. No, PK. Let's get a good read. Let's go. We got to get caught up. Damn it. Adam. Are you kidding me? Get your together. Everybody needs to take a deep breath. Everybody. Just calm down.
Michael Waltrip up in flames and into the outside wall.
And as the Intimidator once said, you win some, you lose some, you wreck some.
Here we go, 8, 9, 10 cars.
Man, you hate to see this early in the race. The yellow flag flying for the third time.
Back it down, low, go low. This is short track racing. Here, we're doing our best, so let's just stay cool here. That's it. Don't go below the yellow.
Contact here at the trioval. Edwards goes up in the air. Carl Edwards got a bump from behind. Coming into the trioval to the start-finish line, he was in the lead. Suddenly, he was in the air.
So how do you counter the ugly of 2009? You bring on handsome Hermie Sadler. Hermie, there were some ugly things going on there, but when you put them all together, it kind of magnifies them.
It really is. I mean, and this sport is so competitive. We talk about it all the time. Track position is so important. When you mess up on pit road, it really, ruins your chances to win a race sometimes. So everybody's got to be on the game for every lap of every race.
Well, one thing I like to say about all these pit miscues, that was a little deceiving there because, some of them were the pit crew. And as Dale Jr., he's had problems just finding the pits or the tire getting on the white line. So you have the pit crew leaving lug nuts loose, and then you have the driver not finding his pits. So two different stories there.
Well, I'm puzzled with this 9 team, and Gillette team. I look at this and I go, Casey Kane led 140 laps last year. He's only led about 40 this year. Won a bunch of races, and they're not even a factor. I don't understand. A.J. Allmendinger, a fresh brightness to that team, but just not as strong as they should be, especially as popular as Casey's with that Budweiser car.
Well, Roush Fenway Racing has been shut out of victory lane since Matt Kenseth won at California, but can Jack's Pack make it back there today? Greg Biffle certainly hopes so.
I think that Roush Fenway off just a tick this year, not much, but it seems like we're not quite as competitive as we were last year by just ever so slight. And I had this conversation earlier, and I don't think it's that we've slid down the hill, down the slope any. It's the other guys have gotten a few steps up the slope, have gotten a little better, and we really haven't gotten any better. We're where we were last year, but we need to improve that. And so it's a constant improvement, and I don't think our graph isn't quite as good as some of those other teams have beat us a little bit, but we're working hard.
There's no question they are working hard at it. 2 wins for Matt Kenseth. Top driver in the standings is Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray, and David Reagan. No top 5 so far, but guys, when you look at Roush Fenway Racing, you got to give them credit right now because we have in the top 12 currently right now Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, and Carl Edwards. Hermie, they got to be doing something right.
Yeah, well, sometimes you're a victim of your own success. I mean, we expect these guys to go to victory lane multiple times, and when they don't, people want to know why. But good point by Greg Biffle. Everybody else has worked hard to catch up.
Well, and the big thing that I see is that last year Kyle Busch wins 8 races, Carl wins 9, and I think Jimmy gets in there with 8. It's hard to believe those guys won that many races, and this year nowhere near as close. So I agree that the competition level, you look at Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, you look at Mark Martin in the 5-car, a lot of different players in this scenario, a lot more competition. Those other teams have caught up, working hard.
When I look at Jack Roush's brigade, I think to myself, with so many teams, so many drivers, how can you stay on top that long? Jack changes people around. I mean, Robbie Reiser, which was Matt Kenseth's crew chief, he goes back in the shop, to run the organization. I think it's incredible that they rebound as quick as they do. What I have to say about Roush Racing, Spence, is when they are down, it's not like they're way down. You see a lot of these teams like Childress, when they're down like 20s in the points. Great drivers, like Kevin Harvick. When Jack Roush is down, They're like 8th in the points. Ooh, big deal.
Yeah. And you said it, 3 of them still in the chase for the championship. And I'll tell you what, I would not count them out.
Yeah. Hey, when we come back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, we're going to have one of Jimmy Spencer's favorite things.
Oh, what's that?
Imagine what that is. Well, you know,
birthday cake.
Something about food. Yeah, and to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Richard Petty's 200th win, the Daytona International Speedway has announced 2 great ways to celebrate the 4th of July weekend. Enter to win the 2009 King for a Day VIP sweepstakes hosted by the King himself. You can purchase specially priced $43 Daytona front stretch tickets. For more information, go to speedtv.com, keyword promo, or call 1-800-PIT-SHOP. Welcome back to Michigan Race fans. Want to learn something new every day? Make sure you go to speedtv.com and check out our Advanced Auto Parts virtual cutaway car. Go to speedtv.com and enter keyword advanced. Remember this race last year when someone came on the radio and said, "My kingdom for a thimble full of gas"? Well, Hermie Sadler is going to show us now how they get all the fuel in these cars and why it is so important to calculate it right. Hermie?
Well, thank you, JR. Fuel mileage, the story last year at this race in Michigan. Also, last weekend at Pocono, Tony Stewart did a great job of making his fuel last all the way to the end. But how did the crew chiefs know if the driver can make it all the way or not? We don't have gas gauges inside of these cars, and you're not pulling these cars up to the fuel pump and checking how many gallons goes into this car. Well, first of all, we want to let you know a dump can empty that you see right here, about 12 pounds. A dump can full of fuel, which holds about 11 gallons, about 87 pounds. So each gallon of gas will weigh about 6.5 pounds per gallon. So what do? We bring our Advanced Auto Parts cutaway car into the pits. Our gas man takes the gas can up, he'll load it up, go into, fill the car up with fuel. Kevin here is going to catch the overflow in the catch can. Well, once the pit stop is over, we set the can down, we take the dry brake off of this dump can, and we pour the remaining fuel back into this can, and then we set this fuel dump can back up on the scales. And what that tells us is how much fuel did not go in the car and how much is still in the tank. That's why you see crew chiefs say, when they're asked, "Can you make it on fuel?" they say, "We're close, we're not real sure." And that's because they never know exactly how much goes into the car. So this is the closest they can get by weighing the gas and the can before the stop and after the stop, JR.
Thanks a lot, Hermie. It's now time for us to take a lap. Why don't they just put one of those little fuel gauges in there with a little needle, you know? Puts over the little picture of the gas can, EF, you know. Anyway, let's go riding, Kenny.
And here we are with Tony Stewart, dog leg front straightaway. Not a real straightaway, but anyway, Tony Stewart enters high, not afraid to die like he's at Eldora. Look at this high entry, Jimmy Spencer, through the middle of 1 and 2.
And this you see up there in front of Tony, that guy all the way down on the bottom. Tony in about the middle. This is the big difference here at Michigan. Definitely 3 grooves of racing, Hermie.
Yeah, but turn 2, not as much racing room off turn 2 as it is off turn 4. And Jimmy, this weekend, a lot of guys talking about cars being too free coming off of turn 4, getting that good run to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and here we are coming off of turn 4. We've seen a lot of accidents here coming off this corner. That wall comes up really, really quick on you, Kenny.
Now let's go for a ride with Joey Logano.
And watch the difference in the line. Logano enters high. Here he goes. Lets off the gas. Starts arcing down through the middle, and he's on the bottom of turns 1 and 2. What are you telling me to hurry up for, Spence? Now, one thing
I want you to go faster.
One thing I'm going to straighten out is the back straightaway is straight, not like the front straightaway. It's a dog leg.
And what I'm looking for today, watch Joey Logano, a good entry into turn 3, a very easy corner to overdrive, Jimmy. It's a big, wide racetrack, but you can carry too much speed into turn 3 and mess up your entry.
And Hermie, you had the interview with a lot of drivers today, and so has Wendy, and we've heard them all talk about overdriving this racetrack. And I think one of the best drivers in our sport was Darrell Waltrip of not overdriving a racetrack. David Pearson, Bill Elliott, not overdriving a racetrack. And what you're saying here is you got to roll out a little early, get that car in the corner and get it set, then put the power down. That makes a big difference here at Michigan. Very easy to overdrive.
I want to say something. Driving techniques are changing, though, because Jimmy Johnson brake torques. Sometimes drivers let off early, don't touch the brakes. You'll see a lot of brake dust coming out of these new cars. They're a lot different driving style now.
And Hermie, turn number 2 could be the danger zone.
It really could. I mean, we saw Greg Biffle, one of the best drivers in our series, watching coming off turn 2 in practice, spins. And what Greg Biffle says is, to go fast, you got to have the car free and on the edge of out of control, and right there, the Biff loses it. And you compound that, Jimmy Spencer, all of our practice this weekend has been done with overcast, cooler temperatures. Look for a lot of guys to lose their handle on their race cars in this hot sun today.
And, you know, we're quick to criticize NASCAR and stuff, but you see when they spun, roof flaps come out and it spins. The key here is that you notice all that paving on the inside. We see it at Daytona, Talladega. More and more tracks putting pavement inside. These drivers spin out. They live the race another day. If it was grass, bam, they hit the wall. So I tip my hat to NASCAR. Anytime I see that, good call, NASCAR paving them inside of them racetracks.
All right, now with this double file restart thing, we're going to have it again today, and restarts are going to be the key here at Michigan as they were at Pocono last week.
Well, I think it went pretty good. You know, it makes it a little racier on the restart. I was shocked that they weren't going to do single file with a certain amount of laps to go, maybe 10 to go or something like we normally do. But, you know, I mean, it'll certainly be exciting when we get those green light checkers finishes starting side by side.
I need a little more time to think about this. You know, last week was an interesting case because we had, you know, people would pit and they could stay on the lead lap if they pitted, and that was interesting. So I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it. I just don't want to be surprised by something.
I thought that the double file restarts were exciting. It's fun. You know, it was probably better for the fans. But the one thing that I think they have to do is they need to give that leader his own row. The leader needs to start alone on the front row. You know, it's just tough to go from having a 2 or 3 second lead to having to start right next to a guy.
I thought it was all right. You know, I think the drivers yielded to one another, where the guy on the inside, because he's running in an even position, got in front of the guy on the outside. That was an odd position. You know, this racetrack, Michigan, will be more exciting because you can pass and maneuver a bit more so in turns 1 and 2 and on a restart. So we'll see how it shakes up, but overall, I'd give it a B.
A+. To me, this double file restart is the best thing to happen in our sport as far as competition-wise in many, many years. Kenny, what do you call that thing? You know?
Listen, race fans, it's shootout style.
Double file restart, shootout style.
And we're making fun because, you know, NASCAR said, look, we're going to do double file restart, and we want all of you media to report shootout style. My gosh, I got so tired of it, Hermie. Double file restarts, shootout style.
But it's kind of fun to say, though.
Hey,
shootout style.
I like the way everybody right now is saying, well, it was okay, it was this. Wait till we get to Infineon.
I love it, Hermie.
The double file restart with 2 laps to go. They're going to be throwing stuff and punching and kicking, and they'll really have an opinion next week, I promise.
Hermie, how about Infineon going into turn 1 there off
They can't even go in there 1 wide. How are they going in there 2 wide?
I can't wait.
All right, we're going to rename this show NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot Shootout Style. Yeah, when we come back, we're going to wrap this whole thing up and get you ready for 400 long miles of racing this afternoon on one of the fastest, widest tracks anywhere, the Michigan International Speedway.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And brought to you in part by Victory, the new American motorcycle. And by Sprint. For more NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, go to sprint.com/speed.
Next week, we head to No Count for the first right turns of the year.
The big thing is don't outguess yourself.
Okay, the first on-track right turns of the year. I hear the locals enjoy this place with some fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti. Who's first to the finish? Live from Sonoma. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
We don't want to be picky or anything, but Chianti's Italian wine. We'll get into that next week.
I was wondering.
Check their facts on that one. Anyway, welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. It is always a good time to salute the United States military, and we're going to do that once again as we send it down to Wendy Venturini, who has some very special guests. Wendy?
Thanks, Johnny. Quite the celebration here in the garage area. 234 years. That's what we're celebrating for the birthday of the U.S. Army. Ryan Newman joining us now. Ryan, a special day because we have Major General Arthur Bartell with us also here today. Cool opportunity, the birthday of the U.S. Army.
Well, if it wasn't for the U.S. Army, we wouldn't be here being able to do what we love to do with 234 years and celebrating their birthday. And it's just it's an awesome honor to be driving the U.S. Army Chevrolet, and we'll do our best to get them a birthday celebration today in Victory Lane.
All right, Major General, thanks for being here. I saw you cut the cake just moments ago. How exciting is this opportunity here at Michigan?
What a great opportunity to be here and share this opportunity, to have all these fans supporting the Army and celebrating the Army's birthday, and to have this great team of the Stuart Haas racing team and Ryan Newman driving the Army car. We're very, very excited. Army strong.
Very good, and I know Jimmy Spencer is jealous that I get to do this cake cutting along with these guys. Tony celebrating the Army's birthday. I'm stepping up. I don't get nervous on television very often, but I'm very nervous because Ryan and Tony, they are up to no good, and I know it. I'm stepping away. I'm not getting fresh with Tony.
Come here.
Tony, happy birthday for the U.S. Army. Professionalism right now, Tony.
I understand, and we're just trying to keep you calm because this is a professional show here, and you're starting to worry us because you're out of character right now, and there's nothing to be afraid of here. I mean, we're all just enjoying the Army's birthday today, and as you can tell, I too am Army strong because keeping Wendy from going anywhere.
Well, talk about your race car, because you had a great finish coming off that win. You're leading the points 2 weeks in a row. I knew this was going to happen. Forget about your race car. I'm losing control here, Johnny.
Oh, wait a minute now. I didn't do it. I didn't do this to you.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Nonetheless.
I appreciate it. It was awesome last week. Everybody with the old Spice Office Depot car, and Ryan had an awesome finish too. I mean, they had to battle back a lot harder than we did. So we both had a great weekend in Stuart Haas Racing.
Well, good luck again today, leading the points 2 weeks in a row. Ryan Newman, directly behind our cameras, is walking away. Good job. Nice try, but thank you anyway.
I was nice. I could have. You know I could have.
I know he could have. They were very nice to me, but I do. Yeah, we're good. It's good.
I love it.
You know what I think is funny is no one threatened at all to do anything to the Major General. They knew better there.
No.
They're at least that smart. Okay, it is time now for us to prove that we are somewhat smart, or at least may look somewhat smart at times, if you pick the right driver to win in your fantasy picks. And right now, Kenny Wallace could take the whole week off, and all of us could score wins if we pick the same driver. And we still wouldn't be close.
But couldn't I take 2 weeks off?
Not
Almost.
quite.
Getting
Not
off
quite.
on
You're getting
Okay.
close.
All right, now listen.
You get to go first.
From the sounds of it, I might be his very last fan. So I am the fan of this driver that is going to win today's race. Car number 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And let me tell you why. Because I believe in mojo, and this was the site of his last win. He was second in practice. Junior Nation is up in arms, and they are going to will him to a great run today.
I think so.
You believe in what?
Wendy Venturini, who are you
Mojo.
picking? Wendy, where are you?
Well, I've been sugar-free and fat-free for so long. We just got some icing in here, and I am covered in cake
Eat it.
icing. Okay, I am going with Mark Martin today. I think he's going to get a victory. He's had 4 wins here at Michigan. He's outside the top 12, but ladies and gentlemen, he's going to gain some points and be back inside that top 12 position. Mark Martin is who I'm going for. Number 5. Now it's going to be backwards to you race fans. Okay, now I've really missed. I'm going to get angry phone calls after this show, guys. Take it away.
Who did that?
Face that camera.
Who's doing that?
Yeah, if I'd have done that, I'd have got fired right then.
Yeah, right on the spot.
But Wendy's got a little more clout than I do, and I understand that. But let's get to my pick. In honor of Army's 234th birthday, in the honor of the fact that Jimmy Spencer's next birthday, he'll be 234, I'm taking Ryan Newman in the 39 Army car.
Very
Go
good.
Ryan.
Hey, man, he's been knocking on the door. He's been in
Good
position
pick.
to win. But I think the guy that's going to win this race, and it's going to surprise everybody, won't be his first victory, but he's starting on the pole. It's a team that's done great all year long, and they've been knocking on the door. The 83 of Brian Vickers will become one of the drivers like Casey Kane that won this race from the pole. How about the number 83 Red Bull being in victory lane today?
No
I think
way.
it can happen.
I'll tell you what, guys. You know who lives down in Road in Livonia? Roush. I'm going today with the 6 car UPS-driven Ford of David Reagan.
David Reagan.
Nicely done.
David Reagan.
That's a good pick, Jimmy.
Wait a minute. I'm also going with the 16 car
What do you mean, wait a minute?
of Greg Biffle. 17 of Matt Kenseth. I also want him.
3 picks.
How about McMurray in the Crown Royal car? And you know what? Throw in the 99. I'm taking all the Roush cars because Jack's going to kick some butt today, baby.
And you know what, Jimmy? You're far enough back that NASCAR has approved
Yeah,
you
Jack
taking
Roush.
5 drivers.
We've changed the rules.
Look at that. You know it.
All right,
5
so
cars.
Kenny's
I got it.
Dale Jr. Wendy's got Martin
Earnhart.
Martin,
I wanna change
39,
my pick.
83. actually.
No, I just want to add to them. Can I add?
Cannot add to it. That's against the rules. Jimmy Spencer breaks
Against the rules.
and he never forgets. Hey, we want to thank all the fans who came out here to the Michigan International Speedway today and helped us out on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Great group of fans. Detroit's a great city. We're happy to be here. Manufacturers' bragging rights are on the line today, and we'll see who gets them in victory lane tonight. So long.